Okay, rad. I think I'm good. Wow. Well. Okay. Do, 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 do. Okay. Just gonna wait a minute before we start. Boop. Beep bop boop. Beep bop boop. Do 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 do. I wonder how bad the stream quality is. Okay, that ain't bad. All right, so we're going over the Demon Mama expose. I watched a little bit of it before coming on stream, and I thought it was probably one of the funniest videos I've ever fucking seen in my life. For context, hi, I'm Scarlett, by the way. I've been watching this drama set go through really closely. I should give some background about myself. I'm an ecological communist, so take from that what you will. I don't believe debating does anything. I don't think a lot of the internet discourse actually helps. At most, it's a good echo chamber for us on the left. We might pull a few people here and there. I know I was de-radicalized through YouTube. First through Destiny, then through Vosh. I've quit watching both, except for like entertainment. Mostly because I was kind of like raised in the debate bro community. I really enjoy rhetoric. I enjoy debating people. It's mostly useless online, like almost completely. I do have a lot of conversations with people in real life. I focus heavily on helping people change their opinions on things like trans rights, gay people. I know my family's extremely bigoted about that. I've literally given my manager at work the talk about how fucking capitalism destroys the world constantly. Basically, what I'm saying is I have to put in a lot of effort to actually maintain consistent rhetoric in order to change people's opinions on different topics that I have to go over, right? So whether that be trans rights, communism, socialism, fucking race arguments constantly, because I live in a fucking racist town. Probably reported more people at work than anyone in the next 5 counties in the past 40 fucking years. But my point is solely that I put in a lot of effort to understand how arguments are formed, to break them down and then reconstruct them from my side in order to get people to understand, A, where they're misstepping, how they could improve their rhetoric, what's wrong with their arguments so they can change and fix their opinion to be more proper, things like that. I watch debates because they're entertaining. They're worthless. It's something to throw on while playing like fucking Star Citizen or something, right? Or like Rainbow Six Siege. Basically, my point is that I'm not coming here in support of either side. Personally, Riley Gray Shroshong, Riley Gray Shroshong, fucking boring. Not even gonna lie. Probably one of the most boring people I've ever like seen on YouTube. I've seen maybe like 2 of her videos prior to this, right? Demon Mama, the history I have with her is related to like the Scrub King shit from that debate, of which you'll probably gain my opinion on. Which, by the way, sorry for the slinky, I stem a lot. You'll probably gain my opinion on that debate throughout watching this video, because honestly, from what I've seen in the first like 23 minutes, I didn't watch it all the way through. It's probably some of the funniest manufacturing of arguments and clips that I've ever seen on the internet. I watched the Riley Demon Mama debate 3 times prior to this. I was keeping up with what Destiny and Riley were both doing. Mostly because I was fucking bored and there's been a snowstorm, so I've been at home. So I've had like 12 fucking hours to put off fucking reading, I don't know, hood feminism. It's kind of boring. The book isn't boring. My life's boring, and I can't fucking focus on books, even though I try and fucking read them constantly. My point is that I've had enough time to properly engage with both sides' arguments. Basic restatement of arguments here before we begin. Demon Mama comes from the I identify as trans, so I'm trans state of thinking, which is where I fall in the camp. Riley does the same, but she takes it a step further, and because she's a lawyer and because she enjoys philosophy and because she enjoys making logical arguments, she likes to look at the framing of why you choose to identify the way you identify as. So to her, merely identifying as something isn't the full story for how that person actually functions within a gender, right? So I'm gender fey, so I'm gender fluid. I go from having like more of an agender feel where I don't feel like I'm either to a completely like I'm a woman. It fucking changes, is my point. Pronouns are she, her, they, them, fey, fair, by the way. Anyway, my point is that Riley's take on it isn't necessarily wrong depending on how you look at it. Her basic argument is, if you're trans, it's probably because in your mind you are thinking things that make you think you are the gender you are. And it's not that you think you are, it's that you are that because of the thoughts you have. And or if you're a closeted trans person like a fucking egg, the thoughts you have that are suppressing your trans identity are not ones that are fully yours. Well, they are, but you're repressing your actual identity. So to her, just saying you're a gender isn't enough, because in the case of people like eggs, they're basically lying to themselves by claiming they're that, which isn't wrong, right? I was a fucking egg. Most of the other fucking trans women and trans men and impals were fucking eggs. A lot weren't. I'm generalizing a little bit, but you get my point. My basic argument here is that Riley isn't necessarily fucking wrong. Now, if she went fucking trans medi and was like, you need dysphoria to be trans, which she never did, or you need euphoria to be trans, of which she never did, then she'd be trans medi. She isn't a fucking trans med from everything I've heard within these two arguments. I don't really care. I'm not here to debate whether or not she's a trans medicalist or a fucking gender abolitionist who has to still recognize the role and function of gender within a society and how it perpetuates stereotypes and how we're still fucking oppressing ourselves through this bullshit fucking system. My point is, purely, is that within this context, we are purely going over what I see as a clear doctoring of this video, as someone who's spent a large portion of time going over the different rhetoric of the two's arguments, looking out for the debate tactics as a previous fan of Vosh's Destinies. I fucking hate Xander Hall because he's an ableist piece of shit, but Xander Hall, also his fucking content's boring. Same with Riley's. Hers is like fucking sleep. Like, I could be in fucking bed sleeping and her content would be less entertaining than that. Mostly because my dreams are rad. My point is that all of their content is fucking shit. The way they present themselves is just fucking internet blood sports that where optically, if you get the audience to perceive you better optically, it doesn't matter what fucking argument you take. It doesn't matter how you actually present your argument and how factually correct it is. The fuckers are just going to take it out of context, and whoever comes off looking better, whoever can cause the most fucking frustration on the other end to make them look as unhinged and as stupid as possible, is who's going to take home the victory, right? Like, that's what it's about at the end of the day. It isn't about a genuine dialogue. It's all fucking internet, social, fucking commodification of human beings so that we can increase the social capital one way or the other. Whether that's destroying a community, whether that's building up a community through destroying other communities, whether it's attacking or unattacking people, depending on whether or not it gives you more social capital. That's basically what this fucking comes down to. Saying all of that, I'm not necessarily going to take a fucking Lacanian psychoanalytical look at whether or not anybody here is trying to put their fucking image through the symbolic to reach whatever fucking state of goal they're getting so they can fucking reset again. My point basically is we're just going over rhetoric, and whether or not, as someone who's watched this 3 times, Demon Mama has fucked off in the video and done bad faith shit, of which, watching this, it was probably the most funny bad faith thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I'll just be straight up honest. Like, it was genuinely funny to me. Anyway, moving on to this, we're gonna start the video. It's a rad intro, by the way. I fucking love her lip ring. It's really cute.
Hello everyone, my name is Demon Mama. I'm a political edutainer and streamer here on YouTube.
That right there is correct. She has no fucking credentials to do any of this shit. Neither do I. Neither of us have gone through any substantial training to actually put forward any arguments besides what we put in labor-wise as members of the fucking proletariat prior to us either going live or whatever. For all I fucking know, she could have done zero research on any of the positions she had. And that could just be what she comes to. I don't care. My point is that she is an edutainer. She isn't here to give you education. She isn't here to provide good arguments. She's here to make money and get fucking entertainment value from it, right? You, as the audience, aren't here. I mean, some of you are, misguidedly, here to learn from her. But you should be fucking doing that away from fucking internet personalities. This is shit. This is, if you want good internet content, right? Go watch a fucking cuck philosophy. Go watch a fucking plastic pills video, go watch Hakeem. Hakeem puts out good content. Vicky 1999, go watch something good that isn't this fucking bullshit debate bro, debate girl, fucking rhetorician optical game for who can get the most internet blood sports points in order to win. That's all this is about.
With a wonderful, warm community of people devoted to helping one another grow and thrive. I'm a non-binary trans woman who uses she, her pronouns. Recently, as the result of a conflict with another content creator and streamer by the name of Riley Grace Rochong, some pretty major claims have been circling around about me. The claims are, succinctly, as follows. The first claim is that I am an immoral person for irresponsibly pushing a bad argument for gender self-identification.
So, for context, Riley thinks that if you're going to go into a debate with people who aren't of the same social net as you are, so for instance, as a non-binary person, I am not going into a conversation, with like another non-binary person, and I'm not gonna have to pull out all the fucking facts and shit in order to state them a valid person to even be having this conversation, right? So I can go to my girlfriend and I can be like, yo, let's talk about this trans issue that's affecting me. Or, hey babe, I'm having, like, my girlfriend isn't gonna look at me and be like, oh my god, are you even a fucking woman? Like, are you even fucking valid? Like, your identity is a fucking fraud. No, like, that isn't what's gonna happen. My point is that if I'm going up with someone like my mother, my sister, my grandma, fucking people in my bumfuck nowhere county, they're gonna be like, you're not a fucking woman. You're a dude in a fucking cute ass shirt because I'm a fucking gorgeous ass bitch, and you're not valid. I mean, they're gonna be worse. They're probably gonna fucking hit me. My point is, normal people don't think that fucking trans people are valid. So whenever you're arguing with them and trying to change the fucking manufactured capitalist fucking gender notions that are out there, you aren't going to be using the same argumentative tactics that you're going to be using with the same fucking people you talk to that actually accept and love you, is my basic point.
The second claim is that I am irresponsible in general with my platform as a public trans person and should be deplatformed.
I don't really give a fuck if she's, like, capitalist realist in me thinks that she's a fucking idiot, and that no matter what she does, no matter how bad it is, it's just going to perpetuate capitalism, which is true. So I don't care if she has a platform or not. I don't care who she talks to. Anything she does on this platform, anything any of the fucking bullshit content creators do on their platforms don't fucking matter. They aren't actively doing anything to change the system. That being said, if you're like, I don't know, if you have like a disability and this is all you can do, thank you so much for your contribution to like changing things. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for putting in the effort you do. But what I'm saying essentially is people who could do more, like her, aren't fucking organizing, aren't doing anything. People with means need to use their means to change things, and she definitely ain't it. Just saying.
The third claim is that I am a bad faith interlocutor who abuses other people and deliberately uses manipulative tactics.
That's just a fact. I'm happy she stated it outright. Like, that's just true, and we'll get into it later. But that's just a fact. Like, her talking reminds me of my fucking abusive sister and the way she talks to me. Like, I know I'm coming off very harsh, but that's because look, I'll be honest with you. I'm doing this because it's fun for me. I love going over rhetoric. I also love, like, talking about people who are stupid and don't make good arguments and who frame themselves poorly and who are bad faith, of which Demon Mama is. And going over this and, like, it's just fun. She is bad faith. Like, if you genuinely listen to her rhetoric and how she goes about having conversations with someone, as someone who has had debates with people, both formally, like academic wise, and like externally in the world, she does not perform well in debates. It is all bad faith, ad hominems, or goading, or she'll fucking use fallacious appeals, which doesn't matter to you because you've never had a debate, and philosophy terms and like argumentative terms don't matter to you. But my point is that she doesn't do anything to make good arguments. She'll sidestep any specific point anyone brings up by doing an offshoot of a general statement without ever actually addressing the point. Or she'll do an ad hom. That's about all you'll get. Also, an ad hominem attack is whenever you attack someone's personal character and not the argument itself.
Others. I disagree strongly with all of these claims being made about me, and in this video, I will provide evidence and context that will reveal how grossly irresponsible and uncharitable and dishonest these claims are.
She then proceeds to do this with all of the clips she lays out, and I fucking love the irony of her saying this before doing all of that. It's genuinely fucking hilarious to me. Like, I don't know how anyone could go into this being more bad faith and thinking they're more in the right than what she is right now. Like, it's so fucking funny. Anyway.
Part 1. History and context. The debate with Riley Grace Rochon.
She proceeds to clip out of context and give less context than the entire fucking debate. Not saying you need to watch the whole debate to like do this. What I'm saying is she doesn't give enough of the debate to give proper context and proper positioning rhetorically or positionally for a proper conclusion to be reached. She's about to use a lot of bad faith tactics to make Riley look bad, which is okay to do because she's trying to make money and maximize her like profit and fucking view count, which is cool. But yeah.
Riley and I have been friendly colleagues for some time, and our robust Discord communities have been partnered for about 2 months until Riley broke off this partnership.
I really don't give a fuck. Like, get to the fucking point. Like,
without communication on Monday, February 15th, following a debate that broke out on our channels. Originally, Riley had come by for a joke meme conversation about furries and about Godzilla vs. King Kong. As you can tell, this was a lighthearted, fun conversation with no real stakes, which was not included in Riley's uploaded video. At some point, we mutually grew bored of this conversation and began discussing other things, including various chit-chat about online streaming, being trans, etc. A minor disagreement with another creator was brought up casually, and from this, a secondary topic arose.
But also doesn't include people who we don't want to include, right? We probably don't want to say that, like, and this is this is also my take, and this is probably my spiciest trans take, but I think I'm pretty pilled on this or whatever.
Right.
I don't think that we can just say anyone who identifies as trans is trans.
From here on out, the conversation...
I love this because she doesn't give the full context of the position and then immediately moves on to make it seem like Riley's fucking trans mid. Like, that clip right there actively makes any trans person who's even vaguely aware with the connotations regarding transness to believe that Riley is about to say some stupid ass fucking shit about dysphoria needing dysphoria to be trans, or you needing euphoria to be trans, whenever Riley never makes that argument in the entire fucking debate.
It was incredibly personal and intense, and I was doing my absolute best to de-escalate and communicate my desire to no longer participate in the conversation. While I recognize that I could have forcefully ended the call after my requests to halt the topic were ignored, I considered Riley trustworthy and a friend, and I did not feel comfortable kicking her from my Discord in order to end a conversation on my show. My show is my job. Ending a conversation abruptly could also mean ending the show, and it would leave many viewers unsatisfied, frustrated, and with misunderstandings in their minds.
I'm sorry, but if you're fucking uncomfortable, you literally own the platform you present to people. Choose who you fucking put on your platform. This isn't I felt uncomfortable, but I stayed situation. You're a literal fucking public figure. You can choose who you want to platform. If you don't feel like talking to a public figure, if you don't feel safe, then fucking end the call. That isn't me minimizing her feelings. If she genuinely feels like she was being fucking attacked or some shit, which she shouldn't, because she's the one who caused the attacking to occur. She's the one who used the bad faith rhetoric that got Riley in the position of which she was so furious. Then you can take the step back as a responsible member of your platform and your community to go out of the conversation, hit the end call button, and then proceed to go on to a different topic. Pick a fucking Tim Pool video. Go over that bullshit like it's gonna help anyone. You don't need to stay in that fucking call with Riley if you aren't feeling safe. You two are fucking professionals. You two are fucking streamers. If you had like this instant click, you could have fucking went on Twitter and canceled her in 5 seconds and been fine. That's it. Like, that's all you had to do.
I have never before had a caller, colleague, or a friend push me to continue discussing a topic after repeated requests to move from it. Predictably, the conversation became increasingly intense. Riley was raising her voice, talking over me, and repeatedly
I kind of want to go over the full fucking debate because it's genuinely hilarious in every meaning of the word. But Demon Mama in the debate, only in the lightest form, tried to move on from the topic while also using rhetorical strategies to frustrate RGR as much as possible. I don't like Destiny. He's a literal fuckhead. He did a good list of all of the different times that Demon Mama sniped at fucking Riley, right? I want to make this as clear as possible. Fuck Destiny. His community is mid at best. His takes are trash at most. My point is he's a sock-dim piece of shit. But secondarily, he's good at breaking down rhetoric, right? Like, he literally debates for a living. Well, he doesn't. He fucking, I don't know. Fucking parasocial fans do whatever the fuck they want, is my point. But he made a really good list of all of the different things that Demon Mama said to Riley that weren't necessary and were literally abusive if she is a friend. And this isn't like me who loves fucking around with my friends and calling like doing fucking British banter with them like we're two fucking lads in the fucking movie studio school bus fucking around. I curse a lot. I'm sorry. My point is that this wasn't that. They're two professional streamers, one of which is a debate like Lord is that a gender proper term? Anyway, my point is that one's very experienced in the dirtbag debate community style of rhetoric, and the other seems to be a fucking lawyer who's a boring style of rhetoric, and that those two don't mix. Whenever you get an academic debater and you get a dirtbag debater, those two are not supposed to function, right? Like, you don't normally see those two styles happen. One, because dirtbag debaters are fucking worthless in any academic sense of the word. They aren't interesting. This isn't fucking James Baldwin and William F. Buckley debating. This is a fucking trans woman on the internet using bad rhetoric to a fucking another boring academic trans woman on the internet. Like, they aren't having the level of conversation for each other. Demon Mama is used to fucking base level ideas, no philosophy, fucking general conservative perspectives, right? At most liberal perspectives with bad faith rhetoric implied, whereas Riley takes a more academic, higher level, higher philosophical degree to thoughts, and that's how she formulates her opinion to put them out. Let's continue.
Use terms like, I need you to answer this question. I'm going to need you to just answer this.
Yeah, that's because Demon Mama is a slippery piece of shit who can't answer a single question and who will always slide back into generalized statements or form ad hominem attacks, as I've stated before.
This one question. Just answer this one question. For multiple different questions. This gave me the direct impression.
It's because Riley kept reframing her arguments so that Demon Mama could actually understand them instead of sliding back into the same position she's continued saying the entire hour and a half. How long was the debate? I don't fucking remember. Half of it was Riley fucking screaming at her community. Anyway.
That I would be severely judged or impugned if I did not answer. At one point, the shouting got so intense that I threatened to mute, not kick, Riley, and I temporarily carried through with that in order to express my discomfort with the discussion once again. As the conversation went on, there were mutual misunderstandings and miscommunications, which are the natural result of complicated discussions on highly personal topics. And for minor disagreements or slights, I do not impugn Riley or anyone for that matter. I myself became defensive at times and certainly had some misunderstandings of my own. However, this conversation did not stop at minor misunderstandings or miscommunications. At multiple points in the conversation, Riley implied heavily that I was being irresponsible with my platform as a public trans person.
No, I am getting frustrated because you're a public figure, and if you make a bad argument and other people adopt your bad argument, then you are going to
So
leave
you
them
are
in the
making this is why I said, so I was correct in saying that you're making the Destiny argument.
What do you mean I'm making the Destiny argument?
So right here is an item, right? So not only is it true that if you form bad arguments and your viewers take that into the wild and talk to their fucking grandparents who are transphobic pieces of shit to try and change their opinions, that it will fall flat because normal people don't give a fuck. You need actual evidence or actual logical critical thinking skills or actual arguments for things, right? Conservatives don't care if gay people are, well, that's actually how you fucking normalize them. Conservatives don't care about gay people, right? They want something to hate. It isn't logical. If you give enough logical evidence, they aren't going to change. So you target the communities that are the easiest to change with logical forms of reasoning to actually push conversations forward. This right here is a bad faith attempt to compare RGR to someone who is probably, in this sense, they're both leftists, so Destiny's a fucking Nazi. So she's essentially like claiming RGR is a fucking Nazi because that's how most leftists view Destiny, because they don't view him as a sock dumb. They think of him as like a fucking right-wing conservative. So, by comparing RGR to Destiny, who's a fucking lib, who's a fucking cis white dude, who doesn't care about some of the topics he actually pushes, like he doesn't have any personal emotional investment, whereas like Riley does because she's an actual trans woman, or Demon Mama does because she's an actual trans woman. Because he doesn't have that, he might be rhetorically failing in a lot of ways for trans arguments, right? So her calling RGR Destiny is holding back, well, is one, a bad faith attempt to like push aside all of Riley's arguments and also to like demean Riley and to frustrate Riley so that she can push Riley further into this frustrated like place she's already in because of where the conversation was.
Just
Saying,
the comment
here's
that
all
you
you're,
make
you're
an
a
argument
public
and
figure.
you're
Well, guess what? Right now, you are being cringe, and as a representative,
That right there, another ad hom, not actually approaching anything Riley has said, not addressing any of the topics being talked about, just calling her cringe. This isn't useful. One sec, I have a text. What? But okay. Weird. That was the weirdest text message I've ever gotten. But yeah, so calling her cringe is just further devaluing RGR's like argument. It also puts Demon Mama in a rhetorically stronger place over Riley, because if you can invalidate Riley's arguments not through actually attacking the argument, but through like obfuscating it through a like insult, it will further decrease the value of RGR's like position, right? That's what she's trying to do here. Not only has she gotten Riley frustrated, but she's attacking Riley personally, which devalues all of the points Riley is further like pushed for.
A public figure,
What?
as a representative and a public figure, who is representing trans people, by your own argument, your cringiness right now.
Wait, hold on, wait. How am I being cringe? By pointing out how you are being clearly logically inconsistent? How the fuck is
Wait,
that being
I
cringe?
literally-
I'm looking out for people to make sure that they don't make dumb fuck arguments and lead themselves into bad situations
see
that
why?
you would
Wait,
lead them into.
Riley,
People
Riley,
make more
Riley,
arguments
Riley,
and they get fucking
Riley.
destroyed.
At this point, they're pretty far in the conversation, right? She's egged on Riley so much that Riley's gotten into this position. Demon Mama doesn't care about the actual arguments being put forth. She only cares about optics and making herself seem better than like what Riley is doing. And this is what that leads to. This is what that bad faith rhetoric leads to. Leads to this right here. It leads to Riley pissed off, Demon Mama seeming calm, and because Demon Mama seems calm within the argument, she is ahead in the audience's position, right? Because that's how fucking audiences work. They don't care about the actual arguments. They care about who's more upset or who is more calm. If you're more calm, you're winning the argument.
Riley, this is exactly
No,
why.
don't
Wait,
look down
no, stop
like
this.
I'm harming people when you
Riley,
are literally harming
stop
people
this.
and impugning me morally.
Riley, holy God. This, to me, is a rather severe accusation that fixates on my identity in a way that I was not and am not comfortable with. I expressed discomfort with this throughout the conversation, which was ignored. In my genuine attempt to engage in good faith, I was willing to open up about a severely traumatic experience I had during the process of my gender transition. This was harshly questioned and was later, as I will show, used against me in a way that is nothing short of cruel and offensive. Towards the end of the discussion, I was feeling very hurt, but was still attempting to engage in good faith. At this point, I said that I felt like this conversation had become an attempt to justify the existence of trans people via logic, but that trans people should not have to justify themselves in the marketplace of ideas. This statement was...
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't have to or you shouldn't have to. The fact is we need to. That is the state we're at. We're fucking 1% of the population. A majority of people use us rhetorically as a way of fucking devaluing the LGBTQ community, right? Conservatives fucking hate us. Half the liberals and feminists don't fucking care about us. The reason why they don't care about us is because they've already achieved their rights, at least most of them, unless they're black or another person of color. Like, what my basic point is, any white woman who's like a straight white woman or even a lesbian at this point doesn't massively give a fuck about the trans community. So we're out to fend for ourselves. We need to be rhetorically powerful in order to actually change minds. And RGR is trying to find a better argument than one that is technically fallacious, even though I shouldn't be saying that. And the way it's fallacious is because it has like circular logic, right? Demon Mama doesn't care, and she doesn't care about improving her argument. Even if like we shouldn't have to do this, the fact is we need to, even if that isn't something we'll want to own.
Meant to be an olive branch, but appears to have been misinterpreted very negatively, and Riley, following this, swore at me and left the call. While I do not believe...
To be honest, Riley should have left the call as soon as the like bad faith arguments started hitting from Demon Mama, because that's the only way that she would have maintained any semblance of like peace, right? Because Riley at that point was rhetorically fucked. She had way worse arguments, or like handled herself way worse in the debate than Demon Mama did, because Demon Mama's good at bad faith debating. And that's what led to Riley blowing up.
That what I said was particularly out of line. I realize how, in the moment, it was not as clear as it could have been. Nonetheless, my imperfect communication here does not justify what has followed in the days since the debate. After she left the call, I was extremely frustrated and distressed, and one of my lead mods advised me to end stream and cool off because it was clear that I was hurting. I agreed, and I ended the stream. Concurrently, Riley continued streaming, where she became embroiled in a debate with members of her own community, including her admin team and her moderators. During this conflict, she banned me from her Discord, which I have been a member of for over half a year.
It doesn't matter. She owns the Discord. She owns her community. She can ban and talk to whoever she wants, however she wants within the community, as long as she isn't being, like, bad about it. So as long as she isn't fucking grooming people. If she wants to, like, debate her own community, it's her right to do that. I wouldn't tell her how to run that. Personally, I wouldn't do that because I think it's stupid. And yeah, Demon Mama being like a member of that doesn't fucking matter. She should be banned with how she treated Riley in that debate, but that's my opinion.
Blocked me on social media and
Good.
deleted the Discord partnership, which my Discord team and her Discord team have both worked on extensively.
That doesn't matter. If she doesn't want to associate her platform and her community with Demon Mama, of which I think is a great choice, then she doesn't need to.
From the moment the debate ended, there was a loose consensus in the leadership of both of our communities that this had not been productive and should not become the topic of further stream or YouTube.
No way. I couldn't imagine a bad faith discussion between two content creators being unproductive. It's almost like that's what a majority of the debate community is.
YouTube content. I agreed with my team's assessment, especially because so many deeply personal issues had come up during the debate, and we took action to unlist and unlink the video of the debate immediately. The video of the debate has remained unlisted and unlinked until now, at which point it has become necessary for the record to be set straight. There is a link to the full debate down below, including the content that was removed by Riley. Riley, prompted similarly by her team, including her editor...
The content removed by Riley was literally skipping the pre-discussion and started at the clip that Demon Mama presented at the beginning of this video. That's it.
Was unwilling to commit to unlisting the video, and the conflict with her team continued. At the time, unbeknownst to me, into the next day, Tuesday, the 16th of February. Part 2. The death of a community. Since the day of the debate, nearly every member of Riley Grace Rochong's admin and moderation teams has resigned publicly. As of the writing of this script, I have been informed that only 6 members of that team remain. I now know that over the course of Tuesday the 16th, the admin and moderation teams, which includes multiple of Riley's personal friends, attempted to dissuade her from posting the video to YouTube as a mainline video. These requests were not respected, and despite protest from her own editor, Riley decided to proceed with posting her own edited version of the video.
This is so fucking stupid. It's her content. It doesn't matter whether or not her mods or her content, like, fucking editor cares. Like, it isn't her, like, prerogative to care about that. She's out here to grift and make as much money as possible putting out the content she wants to put out, that she doesn't need to give a fuck if Demon Mama or her admin team or the content editor wants it out. It doesn't matter. That is the stupidest argument to make.
Oh yeah, super stressed. Oh, he needs to be stressed. I just got home from my externship in Annapolis while multiple friends of mine left the server, and also I had class while I was learning that Destiny was looking at a debate that I had yesterday that's been destroying my community. Yeah, no, it's been great.
Riley's personal edit of the video contained a portion of an out-of-context casual conversation about my disagreements with a prominent member of another large streamer's community. Riley has since admitted on her own stream to including this section intentionally, as she now agrees with this member's assessment that I am too crazy to interact with. In the following clip, Riley is
I wouldn't argue that Dima Mama is crazy. I think she knows full well what she does whenever she enters conversations like this, right? I think she explicitly goes in a bad faith manner, or at least chooses to use the rhetoric she uses, which is bad faith, in order to give as much entertainment to our community as possible. And any other content creator who looks at that and responds to it like Riley did is obviously going to be thrown under the bus by reacting to that type of content. It's easy.
Live on air with her own editor, who confronts her about this.
You're not gonna even fucking listen to us.
No, You're am listening to you. I'm willing to listen to people
your
if there's a point.
Fucking die. It feels like it's burning to the ground, and I hate it.
No, I'm not going. Like, I'm going to listen to you. Like, what do you think I'm doing right now? I'm literally listening to you. We are talking right now. I'm listening to you. Okay?
If you had listened to us at the right time, you wouldn't have that video up. You wouldn't have fucking Destiny here dropping the R word, dropping the T slur.
Okay, listen. You're able to.
Following the launch of the video, Riley was invited by the streamer Destiny to appear on his show to discuss her debate with me. The tone and rationality in Destiny's previous engagements with me speak for themselves.
Dude, I felt myself becoming misogynistic just listening to her argue with this girl. I was turning into an incel in real time. Every time she spoke another sentence, I had to kick Mel another 2 feet away from me because I hated women that much more. Like, she's bad enough that when I haven't posted my first video yet with her because I want her to die and fade into obscurity on the internet and never come back. Like, that's how horrible I think.
I don't want to give any more attention to Demon Mama. Scrub King, if you want to go argue with her, you'll give yours. That's fine. I, honest to God, I think she's a worthless piece of shit that nobody should listen to. She actively harms the trans community. She actively harms any SJW, left-leaning social causes. She actively harms.
I will agree with that point. I think anyone who uses the type of rhetoric she does is doing active harm to communities. Like I said, I don't really give a fuck if she's deplatformed or not. Nothing makes a difference social media wise. We're reifying. We are putting these people, these content creators, on a pedestal and praising them or not praising them, depending on whatever form of social credit we choose to give them that day. But Demon Mama, in particular, is very bad faith.
Women, she actively harms discourse on Twitch. She actively harms any community she would ever try to advocate for or speak on behalf of. She's an incredibly
the reason why I say I agree with them on this point, by the way, because of her rhetoric. If you read the book Kill All Normies, there's some bullshit in it, but it discusses how the misrepresentation and poor rhetorical strategy and the way it presents itself within the feminist community is what led to the rise of Gamergate and the subsequent rise to the incel and further radicalization of young men into the right wing, which I completely agree with because of the way certain rhetoric alienates them. They obviously aren't going to choose to become feminists by that, mostly because fucking white bitches don't care and will just say fuck all men, fuck all cis people, fucking fuck all straight people, and it actively alienates people, right? They aren't gonna want to help anyone. They aren't gonna want to improve. They're gonna objectify and demonize us which we partially, in a very small way, deserve because of the way we treat them mutually. Like, it isn't fully our fault, so they're making the fucking choice, even though, like, obviously the reaction to the things we do is causing that type of reaction to occur. But my point is that, shit, it's not like, you know, it's not like she's helping anything with that type of rhetoric. It's maintaining people being radicalized to the right whenever they hear inflammatory rhetoric like that. But yeah.
Vitriolic, harmful figure to any of these causes on Twitch. I don't really want to like showcase that. If I'm ever bringing them on here, it's literally just to like make fun of them because fuck that person.
As you can see, Destiny has been very explicit about his desire to no longer see me with a platform. It naturally follows that his fan base has repeated these claims extensively and fabricated their own dishonest claims to match. Numerous prominent members of his community have called explicitly for my deplatforming. Here are some examples. Needless to say, many members of Riley's community were not comfortable with...
Who gives a fuck about Twitter or Reddit? I mean, I guess if you're like a woke person, right, and you're on the fucking hyper left, where as soon as you get canceled for the most minor insecurity or like stupid shit, and then all of your friends fucking hate you because all Twitter is performative garbage, then yeah, maybe that's an issue. But like, who gives a fuck about Reddit or Twitter threads? That isn't gonna fucking do anything for a small platform. Like, who cares?
With involving Destiny in a situation that they had already protested to. When the potentiality of a Destiny appearance was made public, the admin and moderation teams largely threatened to resign. They, correctly, feared an unmanageable influx of external, potentially abusive users to the server and unfriendly eyes on the situation. Riley did not respect their concerns, and many resigned on the spot, including founding members of the server. Since then...
Who gives a fuck? Again, it's her choice to go forward with content that she thinks is profitable. None of these people live by actual socialist fucking ideals. It doesn't matter. Like, if Riley wants to make a profit off of the fucking bullshit Demon Mama put her through, let her. If her community has an issue with that, fuck them. Like, I don't care if someone that was there at the start is there at the end, because genuinely, if you come out of that debate and you're one of my friends and I was like fucking Riley and you couldn't point out the ways in which Demon Mama was abusive with her rhetoric and was bad faith throughout the conversation and the ad hom she employed, then you probably shouldn't be in my friend group anyway. You probably shouldn't be like in my community if you're that easily swayed by poor fucking rhetoric. Like, I would not want you there.
A number of slanderous claims have been made against those admins. Seemingly, in the name of further disparaging me, both Riley and Destiny were willing to put the most loyal and highly invested members of the RGR community in the crosshairs of online anger and hate. In the name of correcting the record, I will now read and display a few of these public resignations, which have been provided to me by the admins themselves. In my mind, and this is just me speaking what I'm feeling since this seems to be the venue, I don't care about the conversation with Demon Mama. I don't care whether you, Riley, were right or wrong in your argument, and whether you were or not is irrelevant. What I care about is your effect on the community. After you got off stream with Demon Mama...
So they don't care about the situation that caused RGR to go into a fucking tailspin. They only care that RGR got into a fucking tailspin. They don't care about the consequences of this woman's actions and the way it affects the other person's community. They don't care about how going through an experience like that will obviously leave the person on the other side frustrated. And if your community is being inflammatory towards you, you're probably going to backlash against them. They just don't care. Like, thank you. that's useful as like a mod, that's useful as like a person who's there for the content. I guess in a general sense, if her Discord community is torn because half of them can't tell the difference between bad rhetoric and whether or not they should support an argument off of, like, completely separate from the bad rhetoric, then, like, I could see how that would be an issue, and I could see how that would tear a community apart. But this person's fucking stupid with how they care or don't care about the things that caused an event to occur.
You took out your justified frustrations at a conversation that turned sideways on your own community. Then, when given constructive criticism on that particular stream, you ignored everyone and did something that will cause even more harm within this community. You often say that you don't want a sycophantic relationship, that you are open to criticism, that you welcome it. All of your actions in the past 24 hours has shown the opposite. I personally do not feel comfortable modding for this community if the past 48 hours is an indication of the future of this Discord. I do care for you, Riley. I hope that you can understand I wouldn't be typing out this message or wouldn't have put in the time and effort that I have in this community if I didn't. This community is important. I think the original mission statement of solidarity and learning is an admirable one, and I hope that continues. Unfortunately, I have a performance career and an activist life to think of, and in the area that I live in, being even tangentially related to somebody like Destiny would harm my future opportunities. I want you to understand that the actions you take have an effect on us and our lives outside of just this Discord. I'm relinquishing my modhood and will be leaving the community. I hope...
That is the stupidest fucking shit I've ever heard. I want to begin on this. Singularly, Destiny is a leftist by American standards. World stage-wise, he is center. Probably center-right. My point is that he is still extremely far left for the American perspective. Whoever this fucking person is associating with, if they're that fucking woke, if their Overton window is that out of whack for what the average American experience is like, then my God, do you need to get new friends. Because if you're, like, I get it if you're in, like, the fucking DSA, but I guarantee this person wasn't in the fucking DSA. I can see it if you're in, like, a fucking communist fucking direct action organization. But being connected to Destiny, whose, like, two worst takes are Kenosha self-defense, which, fuck the kid that did that, and the N-word thing, which Destiny is an idiot, of which most white people would agree with Destiny on both, because that's how stupid white people are, then you're kind of dumb. And you should probably find people that are more closely, like, centered with the reality of the situation within the American experience. Because you aren't turning anyone left by staying that left with who you interact with. You aren't shifting any opinion if you don't understand the liberal opinion, if you don't understand the conservative opinion, and how to fight back against both. Because both are fucking wrong, and you need good rhetoric, not this bullshit, to actually change opinions.
All the friends I've made here understand and know that I cherish them. I want everyone to know that as mods of the RGR community, our primary concerns were for the community that had been cultivated through the collective love, care, and labor of the people that made up the Discord. I, personally, as a mod, left because of two reasons. One being that I have a reputation outside of that community being tangentially connected to controversial personalities would show poorly on me and my decision making. And two, I knew that if Destiny and his community got involved, it would make the inclusive, loving, and accepting community largely inaccessible to those who needed this community. This was not a group of mods going rogue or a community turning on their content creator because of a half-baked take. It was a community-staged walkout. We, as people who were regarded and treated as Riley's friends, tried to draw boundaries, which is a completely healthy thing to do, and at every step, Riley crossed each boundary we tried to place.
If their boundary is a public figure interacting with another public figure and also posting content from interacting with both public figures, then they don't understand the livelihood that a streamer tries to cultivate within their experience. They don't understand the grift. They don't understand how life works within the online communities that they have to operate under. It's just obvious.
Take no joy in this. It has had effects on me emotionally, physically, and medically. None of us wanted this to happen. We have had our community hollowed out from the wonderful place it was and replaced with a DGG proxy server, and that is incredibly sad. That's what all this is. Sad. End of statement. Riley, please take down the video. Reconsider what you are doing. Riley, you have spoken extensively.
Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my fucking god, I didn't catch that the first time I watched it. Okay. If you're gonna edit something, fucking edit it. If you're gonna put out a public fucking video, like... Hold on.
What you are doing.
Okay, I'm snipping this. Holy shit. Hold on, I need to fucking tweet this shit right now. Holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck. That is... Okay, that was needed. Anyway. Back to the video. She's a fucking idiot for not censoring this, not making sure this was censored. If you're gonna put information someone else gives you out into the public realm that they wanted redacted enough that their identity wouldn't be out there, then you need to honor that. You don't fucking do this shit. You don't do that. You don't fuck up this badly. Who edits your videos?
Riley, you have spoken extensively in the past about wanting to keep healthy relationships with those around you and not burning bridges, even when there are disagreements. What you are doing right now is not only ruining your friendship with Demon Mama, it's ostracizing her community and your own. I am scared. Please listen to us. I hate to draw comparisons like this, but you have been more charitable to people such as Destiny and Calvin Gara, actors who have done demonstrable harm to people in our community. I want to make clear what my contention is here. It's not that Riley disagreed with...
Preface. I don't know anything about her fucking takes on Calvin. Fuck Calvin. He's literally probably the biggest fucking toxic piece of shit on the internet next to Blair White, as far as the trans community is concerned. I don't know what her take is, so I can't speak on it. But yeah, that's as far as I want to pull that. Secondarily, it's also not this person's like decision on who Riley decides to show in the community or how she interacts with her community. These people need to learn that, and they need to fuck off with it.
Demon Mama on the concept of gender identity, nor that she felt the need to defend her position. My problem has been with the way this whole situation has been handled since then. Riley has been hurting, I know that. She is seeking a way to express that pain and resolve her frustrations. The problem is that others are hurting too. She banned people, including a content creator, someone mere hours before she had been having a meme debate with, in a moment of anger and frustration and exhaustion. In the face of everyone saying this is a bad idea and not to do it, Riley has gone ahead and posted a video that will do nothing but cause more harm for all involved. I have more to say on this, but being on mobile is making me type slow and it is difficult to see what I am saying. I hate that I have to be the one to say this. I hate that I waited until after the video was posted to speak up. You need to do the right thing here, Riley. I hate to act like a parent here, but you need to take down this video. Too much damage is being done here. You need to talk to Demon Mama, privately, ideally, and apologize for the way things went. You don't need to say you were wrong for having ideological differences, but you do.
I'm sorry, RGR needs to apologize for nothing within that conversation. Demon Mama's rhetoric throughout the entire thing was bullshit. Listen to the fucking debate. Try and listen for the snipes Demon Mama puts out the entire time, and you would understand why RGR got as upset as she did. She needs to fucking distance herself from Demon Mama, because this shit's bullshit. Like, whew. Like, damn, is this stuff awful, and she should have nothing to do with Demon Mama. Like, she does not need this woman in her life. No content creator needs this woman in their life. Like, she is not worth being around with the like bad faith rhetoric she puts out.
You need to show that you are the person you claim to be, the one who wants to build bridges, not burn them. I know you might not notice, but the community is hurting. No one here is comfortable right now. Riley, you are burning this server to the ground in some
I don't get why she keeps using the same mod for everything. Side note, like, I get it's rhetorically powerful because the more examples you can give throughout a situation, the better you come off. But like, this is like the third fucking image of this mod. I don't massively care anymore. Like, give me someone else. I want like 19, 20 different fucking examples if that many people walked out of her mod team. Like, I'm just saying.
Notion to protect yourself from an enemy that is insignificant. The harm you are doing substantially outweighs any defense that you have made. Congratulations. You are losing your friends, mods, and admins over this. You are losing the core of your community. The streams that followed Riley's appearance on Destiny's show represent, without a doubt, the most spiteful, dishonest, and cruel treatment I have ever received publicly in my life. Throughout the course of Wednesday, the 17th of February, both Riley and Destiny streamed about me for most of the day. Both of them pushed blatant misrepresentations of my positions, my arguments, and my personality, in addition to openly and publicly speculating on my mental state, the validity of my transition, and the worth of my work to thousands of viewers, all while Riley's community was collapsing. Riley repeatedly insulted her own community during the stream and looked past Destiny, mocking not only her former community, but also trans rights activists in general, framing me as a representative of the most insane type of activist, leaning on stereotypes popularized by the anti-SJW movement and Gamergate. Content warning ahead for this clip.
And then you also have to keep in mind, you go to, are you in law school now?
Oh yeah, no, I'm in law school.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, I'm very busy.
I'm pretty sure, I could be totally wrong, guys. Maybe you live in San Francisco, but I'm pretty sure that you know that like the level of where trans discourse is on the internet is also so far removed from like where people in the real world are too, that it's also like really crazy. Like,
this is an objectively true statement. If people were like, if the people in my life were like the people that I interact with online, or my partners who are all long distance who I interact with online, then I would probably have the best fucking life in the world, because everyone would understand gender in a deep enough way that I would actually be respected. But what he's about to say is completely fucking true. And anyone who actually goes out and experiences the world, who actually fucking works retail, who actually goes out and like orders food, goes to the gym, goes to the fucking bathroom, would understand what he's about to say.
there are people in the real world, you might casually hear people still say things like she-male and tranny. Like they don't think there's anything wrong with it.
That is an objectively true statement. Now, I want you to keep in mind, Destiny is a fucking white rich dude who's a cis man. So he's at the peak of, oh, and he's a fucking gamer. Like, he's a fucking StarCraft or former StarCraft pro. So he doesn't give a fuck about slurs, right? He's peak gaming. This isn't excusing him. He shouldn't have fucking used the slurs. But my point is that the people angry that he used the slurs that he used in this clip are kind of dumb if they actually had an understanding of how people acted in real life that aren't on Twitter. But yeah.
I love it. Let Destiny say the T slur just like that. Wait, hold on. Did you? I didn't hear that.
Some people say tranny or shemale in real life. Should I say T slur? I don't know if I refer. Sorry. Oh.
Okay, yeah, no, people are saying don't say. I mean, like, I've said it once or twice.
T slur.
It should be noted that Riley did not provide pushback to this claim, nor the implications in the claim, much to the ire of her own community.
I'm sorry, the implications in the claim are just fucking factual. If you'd go outside or exist within, like, anything other than the ethereal land of fucking Twitter or YouTube. Like, I talk to my mother, I get fucking dead named. I talk to a dude that I may or may not try and hit on. And if I do try and hit on him, he's going to call me a fucking tranny. Like, that's just a factual statement. People in the real world, maybe it's just because I live in a completely rural area, but people in the real world don't give a fuck about minorities. They should. They should give a fuck about minorities. And that's Destiny's point. That the world isn't there yet, even though they should be. Fuck capitalism for holding us all back and, like, literally causing these rifts between the different minorities and the different classes. But my point is specifically that he is factually correct.
Also, did not provide pushback to Destiny downplaying his previous calls to deplatform me and his wishes for me to die.
Listen, I might have said I wanted to die, okay? Fuck Demon Mama. But it has something to do with her being trans.
First video with her.
But we'll see what we said.
Because I want her to die and fade into obscurity on the internet and never come back. Like, that's how horrible I think this person is. Because it's not just somebody that's like bad.
Oh, fuck. I'm literally talking about her internet career. I wanted to die on the internet, but then I added, like, a fucking injunctive or whatever. I wanted to die and fade into obscurity on the internet. I'm literally talking about her internet career. I'm not saying die in real life. Although, you know what? Even if I did say that,
My first video.
I don't know if I'd say the same about, like, fucking Nick Fuentes or whatever. Like, fuck it, dude. But, like,
With her. Because I want her to die and fade into obscurity on the internet and never come back. Like, that's how horrible I think this person is. Because it's not just somebody that's like.
I'm literally talking about their internet career, right? Like, I want their Twitch stream to die.
So if you understand where Destiny comes from his previous experience debating, I'm not defending, like, I don't know, wanting someone to die. Personally, I don't want anyone to die. That being said, if we have to fucking kill people in a revolution, we have to kill people in a fucking revolution. But, like, normal people, we can re-educate. I love rehabilitation. But, Destiny's position is that if you are operating in complete bad faith, you should not be given any access to the internet, or you should not be able to espouse your beliefs, and there should be things in place to stop you from espousing your beliefs. So it's understandable he'd want her to die. I'm not saying that's right, because it's obviously not. He should want her to change, and he should rhetorically try and make her change, or give her arguments to give an attempt to change. But yeah.
For YouTube to die, like, but I would never want a human being to die, okay? In a video game, off a video game. Or I would want them to die in a video game, but not in real life, okay?
Perhaps the most disgusting and personally upsetting portion of all of this was having both Destiny and Riley speculate as to whether I had thought about gender enough in order to transition.
This sounds super shitty of me to say, but it's surprising that somebody wouldn't have reflected on this before.
For this context, it was purely, which she left out. They were discussing the intricacies of the ethereal experience of being trans. So, like, the internal mechanisms to which drive a person to be trans. So, like, how I'm gender fixed. And the way I experience my gender, like, what do I think about whenever I think about how I'm going to express myself or how I identify? Riley's purest position was, like, just identifying as trans doesn't make you trans. You need those external identifiers. Not, like, external physically, but, like, mentally. They can be external in a sense of gender expression and how society views you, but that isn't how you choose to identify that matters, like expression wise, but the internal mechanisms in which you do so. Not through like dysphoria or euphoria or any of that, though that could influence you. It is like what thoughts or what keeps motivating you to basically choose the gender identity you choose. And like Demon Mama's position is that just because someone identifies that way, that makes them trans. And they're trying to speculate on whether or not they've thought about the other like factors that lead someone to even making that like identifying like thing happen. So whether or not like I have had the thoughts that I want to live the way I live in a way that actually generates me being gender fey and me being non-binary, right? Not that they're trying to invalidate Demon Mama, just that in the conversation, given the context of like how like I've went about thinking about how I experience gender and how I want to express myself and how I most comfortably feel about expressing myself, Destiny here is trying to ask if she's had those conversations with herself to go through the thought process that Riley has in order to like mentally get to where Riley is position wise past like the other thing. So seeing the nuance behind just the identification.
Before making like decisions to transition, these seem like incredibly important and personal aspects of your identity. It seems strange that you would have never heavily considered your identity prior to like making a big effort to change it. I can't tell if Demon Mama just maybe legitimately just hasn't thought about it before. It's entirely possible because we call on trans people or gay people or anybody outside of the norm. We're kind of expecting them to be more reflective on their identity than like a default character in society. So that's kind of true.
That's purely because of the toxic nature in which we live under patriarchy and the toxic gender expression and sexuality repression that a majority of people face, right? That's why he's saying that. Like me as a pansexual polyamorous person has thought heavily about how I feel relationship wise, who I'm attracted to, and the relationship structure for which I live under. And thirdly, I've also reflected heavily on my gender given the identification I hold. And all of those things are all that they're meaning. They aren't meaning, do I have enough dysphoria to be trans? Or have I sucked enough dick to be like gay? Or like, have I like basically interacted with the genders enough to like hold those variables? That's all he's saying.
But it seems strange to me that somebody wouldn't have considered this before. That seems interesting.
Yes.
Which what I'm getting is I can't tell if she's trying to think of like what the answer really is, or if she's trying to think of the answer she should give to win the debate. Because it seems odd to me that somebody wouldn't consider like, have I, if you're going to be trans.
And like having, like he just said, if you're going into a conversation with bad faith rhetoric, driving you, you aren't going to actually honestly comply with those questions. You're just going to give the best rhetorical answer, which is what I think Demon Mama is doing. And that's also why I think she's like making this video. I think she's using a lot of out of context clips that make them look as bad as possible and make her look as good as possible, with her maintaining as calm as possible to maintain the best position as possible. And this is included in that. And I think during the conversation, during those points, she was doing as much bad faith effort as she possibly could to maintain those positions.
And it's like, well, have I been a man? Am I lying to myself about being a man? Like, that seems like an internal, like, struggle that you would have already gone through.
Throughout the day of streaming, Destiny and Riley would go on to appear on one another's shows repeatedly to accuse me of various unsubstantiated allegations, from being bad faith to being a harmful abuser who is bad.
So whenever they say that, they're meaning that rhetorically and like through a debate perspective. I talked to some of her Demon Mama's fans on Twitter and pointed out contexts in which are definitely bad faith, in which Demon Mama has interacted with people, and none of them considered any of that bad faith. They just viewed that as part of her rhetoric. And that shows the way that they operate with her rhetoric and how bad faith it is.
Bad for the trans community. No evidence is ever provided for these claims outside of their personal opinions. Riley also alleged that I was an immoral and irresponsible public trans person during the stream.
The reason I put up the video was to make sure that if anyone wants to know why I banned Demon Mama from my community, why I have a negative opinion of her, why I think she is a morally bad person and does morally bad things, that I can be able to point to that and say, that's why. And you can draw your own opinions. You can agree with me, you can not agree with me, but you can go there and make your own determination.
Again, both streamers streamed about me for hours, and it should be noted that while Destiny asked Riley's permission to go over the video Riley posted, he never even tried to get mine. And until the video you are watching now, I have not publicly addressed the situation outside of one statement on a canceled stream, the purpose of which was simply to communicate to my audience why I was canceling the stream. Riley has, without any provocation, struck out against me, my community, and her own community almost non-stop since the debate on Monday. The level of aggression, cruelty, and complete lack of basic human respect is frankly stunning. Part 3. Setting the record straight, claims and refutations. Now that I have made clear the context, history, and events of the previous week,
She hasn't.
I will take some time to address the
She hasn't even given full context for clips she's provided, and then claims that that is enough. That isn't enough. You need to show, don't tell. You need to give context for how people get to situations before you provide those. Not doing that is a bad faith rhetorical strategy to make you come off good.
Spurious, hyperbolic, and outright dishonest claims made about me. The first of these is the claim that I am an immoral and irresponsible person for pushing a so-called bad argument for the validity of gender self-identification. Gender, identity, and consciousness are some of the most complex, nebulous, and difficult to understand concepts any human will ever grapple with. And they have been hotly disputed topics by philosophers and scientists even to this day.
She literally just said nothing. Thank you. Wow.
Even if you believe I did not perfectly communicate my ideas on gender, no communicator is perfect, and I agree, I did not perfectly communicate everything. I do not believe it is reasonable to conclude my messaging is irresponsible or immoral. Nonetheless, the claimed imperfection of my argument has been used since Monday as the pivotal point in justifying a campaign of hatred and disinformation about me. Tens of thousands of viewers across both Riley and Destiny's platforms have been told that I am bad for the trans community, that I am harmful, and that I am immoral. In another video, I will summarize and clarify my views on the nature of gender. But the conclusion of my argument is that it is most ethical to accept and allow gender to be a matter of self-identification. A person who claims they are a woman can, in good faith, be accepted as a woman. A person who claims they are non-binary can, in good faith, be accepted as non-binary.
No one ever said that you shouldn't do that. That was not the point of the conversation whatsoever. The point of the conversation was how you rhetorically change people's minds the best, and also how you interact with making the decision to identify a certain way. That is all that was said, and her leaving both of those out is why she's immoral and shouldn't speak on these issues.
Models of gender, in my opinion, lead to senseless exclusions and significant complication of social interactions in a way that can hurt trans and cis people alike. Allowing people to identify as the gender of their choice is, in my opinion, the most sensible and ethical conclusion.
No one's ever said that you shouldn't be able to do that.
For expressing this opinion, I was accused of being irresponsible with my messaging as a public trans person. I do not believe that this has been meaningfully substantiated, and the implication, in my opinion, is both offensive and potentially harmful. The simple
Incoming transmed argument. I don't know what that sound effect was.
Functional definition of gender is enough to be impugned for irresponsible messaging. I would argue that Riley herself does not meet her own standards for communication. The evidence of this is that her own community, as well as third parties covering this, have struggled for days to understand her argument, proving it is no more concise or clear than the one she decries me for. Here are some examples of Riley going back on her own arguments despite claiming no reasonable person could disagree with her.
I just wanted to say it instead of saying it in text because I think you're misinterpreting me. There was a point in time where you were talking about it on stream to people where you were saying, well, if you disagree with my argument, then you're not one of the reasonable people, and you banned people because of it.
Oh yeah, no, I don't.
So
Yeah, no.
you're the one defining reasonable in that situation.
Yeah, I think in that situation.
I mean, it is her community. She can define who she wants in the community as much as she wants, whenever she wants, until she could inevitably fuck up her entire community completely by banning everyone. Do I care about this? No. It's just a literal fact of the matter. To claim she can't do that is stupid. It's her community. She controls who talks and who interacts in her community. And she can determine whether or not she finds their opinions correct enough to interact in her community. That is wrong to do. I enjoy freedom of expression and freedom of speech and debate and having good conversations, right? That's fine. But you also need to physically face the reality that the people who own the communities you're operating under can do literally anything in those communities outside of stuff that breaks the law.
Situation is pretty I genuinely think that if I do everything I can to be able to explain something, and if I'm able to go back, yes, in that instance, I am making a judgment call myself for what reasonable is. Yes.
Right.
No,
Whereas in the legal documentation, the reason why it works is because it's judged by 12 of your peers.
Yeah.
Or 6.
Well,
or
I mean,
8
not
or
just. I
whatever.
mean, generally.
None of this has anything to do with an online platform in which she is streaming and creating content and managing her own Discord. It doesn't fucking matter.
Sure, that's how it works out practically, but in concept, it's supposed to be just if we were to construct a hypothetical person and then sample the entirety of a population for what that the average beliefs in that population, then the hypothetical person would represent those average beliefs.
So would you define Liz as a reasonable person?
Probably, yeah.
So Liz misunderstood your arguments in Demon Mama's debate.
Okay, I don't know why. I think that in that respect, she was probably I would say in that respect, if any, I would say in that respect, she was acting unreasonably. I'm not saying that she's a completely unreasonable person, but I genuinely do not know how I could have been clearer. Yeah. No, I mean and that's kind of that maps onto my understanding, because essentially what you described. And I don't know, maybe I should just get away from this terminology. If it doesn't help me actually explain things about people, if.
This is in regards to her using objective and subjective as ways of describing different expressions of gender. Objective being the physical manifestation of your gender and the way you express yourself in the real world, also known as gender expression, or subjective gender, or the internal mechanisms for which you experience gender internally in your mind, which is what causes you to choose the identification you choose. Because that is who you are. Because of the subjective interpretation your mind has that leads you to the conclusion to identify a certain way. With objective gender being the way you express that in the real world and how people interpret you in the real world. Not saying that people interpreting you outside of the gender you identify as makes you not that gender, just that is the way that gender is experienced and verified within a society. That is all that is stated. And the clarification was people not understanding that in her community, because no one fucking uses objective and subjective gender to describe gender expression and gender identification. No one does that except Riley, because she's a fucking philosophy nerd. And this is what people are pissed off about. That's all I'm saying.
It doesn't help me explain things to people better, then I won't use it. But I mean, that essentially maps onto my understanding of objectivity, right? Now, if that's not useful for these conversations, then I won't use it. But like that's kind of like the way that I've explained these ideas. That like broadly.
Second claim circulating at the moment is a broader claim about the irresponsible use of my platform as a trans person, with the conclusion that I should be deplatformed. I believe that this is even less substantiated than the first claim. Not only do I invest an incredible amount of time and thought to the content that I create, but I also do my best to remain accountable to my community, my peers, and my colleagues. While I may not always agree with every single
Why is she
criticism
doing weird
in my
cuts?
direction, there are countless examples of my willingness to engage in self-critique, public critique from peers, and critique from my viewers at large on my channel.
Except whenever I bring up in a Twitter thread how she's having bad faith rhetoric, showing examples of bad faith rhetoric, saying that not all of her rhetoric is bad faith, just the clips that I provided, and how those things are bad faith. She still chooses to not accept those things as bad things and think she is still in the right. That all happened on Twitter, on my Twitter, and she still doesn't choose to acknowledge the fact that the way she speaks to individuals leads them to become frustrated, which leads them to say the things to her that she like receives. That is so annoying because she claims to be this person who's willing to talk out positions, who's willing to change and like rework different like ways she expresses herself online, but then doesn't do that in practice. She is inconsistent in that way, and that needs to change.
However,
Oh, I'm an idiot.
in the name of further disparity,
Where was I?
I would argue that Riley herself does not meet her own standards for communication.
I was right about here. I'm so sorry. I fucked up.
Else, given how much time and effort I put into sourcing and informing my opinions. However, to the masses of Destiny's audience who were primed by both Destiny and Riley to interpret my words with no charitability whatsoever, the substance and content of my work appears to be of no importance, especially with regard to their willingness to claim I am an irresponsible public trans person who should not have a platform to speak. Once again, I urge those who believe that I am somehow irresponsible to analyze my work critically and independently, because these claims could not be further from the truth. In addition,
That's what we're doing right here, baby. Woo! Yep. Let's get them.
idea that I should be deplatformed simply for disagreeing with Riley after she came on my show and started an argument with me which I was not comfortable with is simply outrageous.
She's making the biggest fucking appeals to emotion here, and I fucking hate it. Be objective about the situation. Don't throw in your fee-fees whenever this isn't about that. This isn't about your fucking fee-fees. This is about what actually happened, and what actually happened was your bad faith rhetoric destroying Riley in a debate to the point where she flips out on you, and then you get angry that she's flipping out on you because of the rhetoric you're using. You're fucking stupid. Holy shit. Like, you can't expect an average person or even an online figure to go into a bad faith discussion receiving like little quips and snipes the entire time, trying to have a genuine discussion with you, and you maintaining that, and then getting fucking shut down every time. And then Riley just gets so fucking riled up Riley that she pops off on her, and then Demon Mama's like, I'm so uncomfortable that she was on the show that I control and that I put on the internet to make money, that I'm making a lot more money from right now due to the exposure I'm gaining, that it's just so hurtful. All of the fucking attention I'm receiving. I'm so sorry. Anyway, the appeals to emotion are fucking stupid. Like, if you're gonna talk about this, talk about the emotion in an objective sense and not in this fucking bullshit way. Like, this is so obviously like fucking Jake Paul fake fucking apology levels of I'm so hurt and disgusted at the things that have happened. Like, no, you're not. You're like happy that your rhetoric led to this, that you've gotten blown up again into the public spotlight so that you can gain more fucking social credit, so that you can commodify more people under your banner for money. Like, that's all you're doing, and that's okay to do. I just wish you would be upfront about doing it. Like, please.
Finally, let me address the third claim, that I am a bad faith interlocutor who uses abuse tactics and manipulative language. These terms are all so vague as to be useless.
There are literal fucking definitions for this that academic debaters use, that fucking dirtbag debaters like Destiny, Vosh, and Demon Mama use. It is so easy to look up. You can literally find the definitions for them, and she fits perfectly in them if you analyze the rhetorical strategies she uses and implements when discussing things with people. That's all you got to do, and you'd gain every bit of context you'd ever need to understand why she isn't a good person to talk to, rhetorically, in a debate. Like, you can be a friend with her, probably. I don't know how she is out of this. But online, in a debate scenario where you're discussing topics of importance, I do not expect any goodwill from Demon Mama. That is bad faith of me, but that is a reaction from the 2 debates I have seen of her, both of which I go in neutrally to see how the different rhetoric from both individuals pans out. And how it pans out is her being, like, literally the worst person in a discussion ever that I've ever seen or experienced. Like, she is worse than Vosh. And it is so difficult to be worse than Vosh, who will change his opinions depending on the fucking weather when he's debating a person. She is worse than him in, like, the tactics she uses to talk to people. And that is what fucks with people like Riley so hard. And that's why you can't debate people like this.
Riley herself, at one point, made an entire video about how carelessly the term bad faith is tossed around. I would like to note that the core of these claims comes from Destiny, who, in his appearance on Riley's stream, accuses me of using tactics he himself admits to using on other people.
Have you ever heard of the concept of crazy making?
No, I've never heard of that.
Okay, so imagine that we're having, so some people are really good at appearing calm. I think I'm really good at appearing calm, and I think Demon Mama is very good at appearing calm. The idea is that I needle and I poke you and I prod you and I piss you off until I've said things that are, like, genuinely hurtful and pretty insulting, and then when you start to get emotional, I sit there and I'm like, why are you so upset? What's wrong? Why are you like this?
She does this constantly. Like, if you actually pay attention in debates to the things she says to the people she's debating with, she does it all the time. It is so funny. I mean, it's not funny for the people she's doing it to, but it's so funny for people like me who debate people regularly, who watch this shit unfold. It's so fucking funny. And that's why I find this shit entertaining. Because, like, abusive bullshit like this, or, like, hearing people's, like, genuinely good arguments get completely smashed by bad rhetoric, it's so great. And I love it so much because I'm a fucking nerd. But Demon Mama is the queen of this, and I love it. Like, I love her rhetorically because she's so awful at being good faith. It's so funny.
Me and Riley do not provide substantial evidence of my utilization of any such tactics. I find it very odd indeed that Destiny would attempt to prove that I was being manipulative by pointing out that he is dishonest and manipulative as a conscious tactic. This is an assumption.
Yeah, because they're both dirtbag debaters. Like, they're both dirtbag leftists. Destiny being a shit lib, and her being, I'm assuming, a communist. I've never heard her debate fucking economic policy or, like, widespread capitalism issues. But I'm assuming she does that, and I'm assuming she holds that position. My point being is that she does this constantly, and as people who need to be good at that to make a living, she's obviously very good at that. And Destiny is too. That's why he makes the money he makes and gets as many subs as he does, and is why he's fucking filthy rich and can go fucking knock on doors and sell, like, fucking stupid ass Democrat congressmen to idiots in fucking Georgia. Like, that's why. Because they're good at fucking crushing people in debates. They're good at giving entertaining arguments to people. And that's how they make their fucking money. And she's trying to do that. She's trying to build up a community for that. And she's employing every strategy possible that is in existence so that she can make as many enemies and build up as much drama for as much social like credit while appearing as like reasonable as possible. And that's how she's making money she is right now. So I learned about debate tactics and like rhetoric and fallacious appeals and all of that from an Indian lawyer back whenever I was on the Vosh Discord server like 2 years ago. Or maybe it was a year ago. It's fucking 2020 ruined me. But back then, whenever I was still dating my ex-girlfriend, an Indian lawyer taught me like how he debates people for like court cases. And he taught me how to train rhetorical strategies to win over audiences. And that is a core way of winning over audiences. And she employs it constantly. And I love it. I love it so much because it reminds me of him. And it's just nice to see, even though it's very abusive and toxic with actual like conversations you're having.
Of my intentions, which he cannot know. He proceeds to coach Riley on how to use these manipulative tactics on others. We both do a little bit of interrupting here and there, a little bit of ranting here and there. We both do that. We're both a little performative in that way. But it was you who did accuse me of being.
I don't do performative shit.
Given the history I have truthfully presented in this video, I think it stretches the imagination to claim that I was engaging in any sort of bad faith with Riley. In fact, given how open and vulnerable I was willing to be with her and how that was interrogated and disrespected, I would argue I engaged in better faith than even Riley herself.
God, that is such a slap in the face. I fucking love her. Holy shit. Demon Mama is the best. She is amazing. She is so bad faith. I fucking love it.
True when taken in the context of Riley's actions following our debate, which has been to ceaselessly pursue the impugning of my character and my reputation for days while I did not reciprocate whatsoever. This unplanned debate, which I obviously contested to on the spot multiple times, which followed from fun, memey debates about frivolous topics, was neither pleasant nor constructive in my view. And, since the debate happened, a simple analysis of my own actions and Riley's actions will reveal that only one of us intended to carry this issue beyond the night of the debate itself. Riley. Only one of us has monetized the fallout of this event. Riley, who on her 7-hour-plus Wednesday stream was showered in donations, comments, and thousands.
As she should. She had to go through a lot of fucking shit in that conversation. But I'll tell you what right now. As a person who lives on fucking trans Twitter and fucking on leftist fucking communist Twitter, Demon Mama, is getting so much more praise from like the fucking anti-trans med community and like the anti-like, how do I say that? The like anti-lib community and like basically people who automatically didn't like Riley because of her, again, I don't know her fucking opinions on Calvin, but because of her opinions on that fucking piece of shit, assume her to be trans med, and that reinforced their belief through this debate with how bad faith Demon Mama was. And I can only see Demon Mama exponentially growing as a content creator from here, with Riley falling a little bit before recovering, because that's what fucking content creators do whenever they hit drama. They'll always fucking recover unless they're like fucking Milo or something. Bitch got banned off Parlor. I fucking love it.
Upon thousands of views from Destiny's community, which was openly promoting her in the chat throughout the day before using the Twitch raid feature to send 2,700 Destiny chatters directly into her channel. Simply looking at
it's fucking rad. I'm so happy she made some like profit off of this. Like, that's really cool. Like, that's what they're there for. That's literally why they're there, to make the content. So I'm happy like she's capitalizing. I'm sure Demon Mama, through like whatever the fuck her sub count's gonna grow to after this, is gonna gain a lot too. And with every subsequent drama she begins to be a part of, I can only see her growing as much as Vosh does. Which is two things. It's sad. One, because I've always wanted like a trans debate lord, like fucking trans woman, to actually step up to the mantle. I'm just sad it's this fucking piece of shit who can't actually debate worth like anything. Secondarily, it's fucking rad that we're gonna get a woman that high. I see her in 6 months to a year being at like 120k like subs, easy with how like well the fucking lefty community handles like shitty debate lords, especially because she's trying to play herself off and she hasn't had any of the Vosh moments of like saying the N-word or like being transphobic to like a horrible extent where she'd be like kill all trans people. Like she's actually gaining enough good faith through her shitty rhetoric, and shitty in the like mean bad faith type of way. Like her rhetoric is perfect for what she's tried to do. But yeah, I see her being there in like a year, which is good and sad because one, we need more women up that in places like that. I'm just sad it had to be her.
The staggering difference in views between her usual videos and her maliciously edited video on me should reveal the corrupting incentives at play. Nonetheless,
Maliciously edited video of her was the entire fucking debate from the beginning of the debate. That is... I fucking hate it. Because I know what's happening. Like, Demon Mama's, like, community has never fucking watched RGR's videos on it. RGR's community that's half fucking turning against her are probably watching this video. They probably haven't seen the other fucking videos. They're probably wondering what they're fucking missing out on. And any outside onlooker is looking at Riley like, oh, you're a fucking piece of shit. Like, I can't believe you've done this. It's literally the I can't believe you've done this meme. And that's what's saddening. Because the actual debate was the entire debate plus Riley's entire breakdown on her own stream and her own community. And seeing Demon Mama, like, act as if, like, basically the way she's presenting herself as, like, the perfect party here. And it's disgusting. It is utterly and, like, completely disgusting.
I am the one being accused of being bad faith. I am the one...
It's because you are.
...being accused of being manipulative. I am the one being accused of abusing the goodwill of the audience at large. The evidence here...
That's such a good appeal to emotion. I want to point that out. That was such a good appeal to emotion.
...speaks loudly and clearly in my favor, despite the misleading claims of those who orchestrated this drama. In conclusion, Riley's behavior towards me this week has been inexcusably dishonest, aggressive, and inconsiderate. She has virtually torched her entire core community and ruined the trust many people in her audience once held for her. And for what? To hurt me? To curry favor from a more powerful streamer?
God, I love how she plays this off because Riley only turned to Destiny because Destiny's been through this shit before with Descrub King. Like Demon Mama did the exact same shit to that hoe. Descrub King's a hoe? Descrub King's a hoe. To that hoe. Yep. Fucking love whenever I spit out words. Anyway, she did the exact same thing to that dude. Right. And Destiny knew that. And he knew the way Demon Mama fucking manipulates people. So he pulled Riley onto his stream to explain how those interactions occur. And I think that's okay. Destiny's a piece of shit in a majority of ways, right? But I'm happy as a person who's been through that. That he was willing to reach out to someone who's also hurting in the same way that she's caused another person. So that's good. It's really good, and I'm happy.
Since Monday, I have been subjected to a cascade of spurious criticisms, hyperbolic claims backed up with no evidence, and outright transphobia as a result of Riley's actions. I have not participated. This has not been a back and forth. This has not been a squabble between communities. Instead, this is...
because she's employing the strategy still. She's literally still employing the strategy. She let Riley go off on all of these tangents, right? She's let Riley be riled up Riley, and then she's coming in at the end with this perfect fucking calm persona and just letting her soak in all the views now. Like, this is gonna get so big. And I love this. This is such a good strategy. Like, it's genuinely the best fucking strategy I've ever seen in my life.
In a one-way campaign of anger, cruelty, and hatred pointed directly at me. I am tired of this meaningless, dishonest, and toxic discourse. I am tired of the grave emotional toll on our communities and mod teams. I am tired of being lied about so blatantly. I am tired of the hard work I put into my content being obscured by 2 other streamers' obvious spite and drama. If you have reached this conclusion and you are unsure about me or my content, I implore you to look for yourself, ideally without the unfair framing of individuals who hate me and who have openly admitted to using manipulative tactics on those that they hate. Thank you, and may this drama burn in hell.
I loved all of that. Holy shit. She's so good at what she does. Anyway, so that was my breakdown of Demon Mama and the way she fucks with everyone in this video. And I hope you liked it. Like and subscribe. I'll probably do more teardowns in the future with like different people's content.